35 years ago, as a kid, I experienced what I can only describe as one of the best summers at the movies, maybe ever. Now, we all know that the summer blockbuster movie craze was first started with Jaws in 1975, and in the years following, we got some of the most memorable films of all time during the summertime, including Star Wars in 1977, Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981, Ghostbusters in 84, Back to the Future in 85, Top Gun in 86, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit in 88, just to name a few. But the summer of 89 was different. 1989 didn't actually start off very strong. I mean, we did get the classic Rain Man and the very underrated comedy The Burbs, which I consider to be a hidden gem among 80s movies, followed by Fletch Lives, Major League, and Pet Sematary. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade would kick off the blockbuster summer of 1989. After the franchise had taken a dark turn with the film Temple of Doom back in 1984, Spielberg and Lucas decided to bring the franchise back to its slight comedic and lighthearted action style with Last Crusade. The Indiana Jones franchise had always intended to be 5 movies in total, based on the original contract with then Paramount Studios, but the reception of Temple of Doom sort of changed all that. The studio decided to release a teaser trailer during the Christmas season of '88. Let's take a look.
All set?
Hardest thing is to keep your hat on. That should do it. Trails.
I feel like killing you with my bare hands.
Just another day at the office.
So right away you see that the trailer was different in not only that it showed parts of the film, but chose to approach it as sort of a documentary with scenes of crews filming and creating effects for it and quick snippets of the actors and even the directors talking. Now, whether you think this is a good approach or not, I think the overall message was received by the audience. This would be a return to form for the franchise Indiana Jones fans had fallen in love with all the way back in 1981. The movie not only brought a more lighthearted approach to the action, but also a great chemistry between two great actors, Sir Sean Connery and Harrison Ford. Many other minor characters would return to this film, and yes, even the Nazis. Hey, if you want bad guys in a movie, you can't beat Nazis. The movie was released in May 24, 1989, on Memorial Day weekend, and will go on to become the highest grossing movie worldwide for that year, raking in $472 million. That's $1.2 billion when adjusted for inflation. To say Last Crusade was a success is an understatement, but it kicked off the 1989 summer blockbuster run as only Indiana Jones could. On June 11th, Star Trek V was released, with the studio being fairly concerned it would be released among too many other sequels that summer, which was something that had never been done before. The reasoning for this? It was moved to a summer release after parts 2 and 4 had seen great box office numbers in June, but those movies did not have the amount nor the quality of competition seen in the summer of 1989. Star Trek had never been considered a super blockbuster franchise, but even by low standards, Star Trek V was considered a disappointment among fans and casual viewers. The storyline of the crew of the Enterprise going off in search of God was deemed too far out there, even for a sci-fi franchise known for going where no one else has gone before. William Shatner himself directed the 5th entry, which went on to collect $70 million on a budget of $33 million. It was also nominated for 6 Razzie Awards and taking 3 of them, for Worst Director, Worst Actor, and the pinnacle of the Razzies, Worst Picture. It was even nominated for Worst Picture of the Decade, but I think that's a little bit too much. It's a bad movie, I get it, but it's not that bad. And watching it as a kid, I can tell you it was entertaining to watch, except for this scene right here. Oh, moving on. The following week, on June 18th, we got the sequel many expected, but few felt lived up to the original material. Ghostbusters 2, to me, was something I have been looking forward to for some time, after seeing articles about it in magazines, including Fangoria, and the fact that I just loved Ghostbusters the movie and the animated show as well. I was really hyped for the sequel. I recall saving up money to go see it before Indiana Jones. Now, I know I'm gonna go against the masses here, but I thought the movie was great. It had great effects, it was witty, it didn't get too dark except for the subway scene. And when they made 2 Nintendo references in the movie, I felt like the director in the movie was talking to me. A Nintendo NES Advantage that I owned was being used to control the Statue of Liberty as it walked across New York? Are you kidding me? I remember kids all around me gasping when that scene played out, including myself. I still love that movie, and contrary to all the haters out there, I think this movie is still great and fun to watch even today. It went on to make $215 million on a budget of about $35 million and was the last entry to the franchise until the 2016 female reboot. Well, unless you count the Ghostbusters game as part 3, which a lot of people do. Then, on June 25th, it finally happened.
This time it is to the big screen. Warner Brothers is spending millions to bring millionaire Bruce Wayne and his alter ego to life. Is this a gamble for the studio? Will Batman pay off? Will there be bat hysteria?
Last time fans saw a Batman film was 1966, and this new movie was a big deal, as it was a huge deviation from what people saw back then. A script floated around Hollywood for almost a decade, with several directors attached to the movie at one point in time before it hit the big screen. So check this out. Ivan Reitman at one point was attached to the film and wanted Bill Murray to play Batman and Eddie Murphy to play Robin. Now, don't get me wrong, Eddie Murphy was on top of the world in the 80s, and Bill Murray is Bill Murray. But can you imagine this? Well, let's be thankful that didn't happen. Newcomer director Tim Burton would bring a new, darker spin to the Batman on-screen character. This was a big change from the lighter tone that the TV show had set in motion for so many kids growing up in the 60s and the 70s.
Unlike the TV series, which took a campy look at the dynamic duo, the movie promises to stick closer to the comic book version, which takes the Cape Crusader very seriously. This is an 80s Batman. Just look at how the Batmobile has changed.
Along for the ride was Michael Keaton, who was mostly known for comedies, cast as Batman, which caused a huge uproar in the comic community, thinking the new movie would be a campy take on a character that is supposed to be anything but campy. And who could blame the fans? I mean, this right here is the guy who will be donning the cowl.
I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't see it. I'm not impressed. Not one iota. You're fired. What?
The feedback was anything but good. Warner Brothers Studio received around 50,000 letters from angry fans due to Keaton being cast as Bruce Wayne. Even with the decorated Jack Nicholson taking the role of the Joker, the studio grew worried as negative reaction among the Batman community continued to grow. So the studio rushed to create a trailer that was released during the Christmas season of '88 to try and ease concerns.
Vicky Vale.
Hi. Bruce Wayne.
And what do you do for a living?
I'd like you to handle this operation personally.
Me? Nice outfit.
Hold on a second. I can't make it then either. I've got a very important meeting today.
Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man! What are you? I'm Batman.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? Alfred, let's go shopping.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
I feel a little drunk. And you're not anything.
Hey, one drink and I'm flying.
Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
The plan worked. Not only did fans finally get to see what Keaton would bring to the role, but it showed the art style and direction the production was going with the film. The trailer was heavily praised and has gone on to become a memorable part of the Christmas season in '88 and set up Batman to be a huge hit the following summer. The movie had a budget of only $48 million and went on to gross $250 million just here in the US and totaling $411 million worldwide. But more than just that, it went on to revitalize the superhero movie genre, reshaped the action movie genre from macho man looking protagonists to action set pieces and special effects, and most importantly, it got WB to move forward with the Batman animated series in the early 1990s, which I consider to be some of the best Batman media out there. But you didn't have to be a comic fan or young kid to enjoy the movies that summer. Thanks to Lethal Weapon 2, it seems there was a little bit of something for everybody. The sequel to the action-packed Odd Couple buddy cop movie starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover burst onto the scene and took everything from part 1 and ratcheted up to 11 from beginning to end. The storyline is adrenaline-fueled. The chemistry between both leads and their counterparts led to some very well-timed comedic moments that allow you to take a breather before the movie decided to go full speed again. And on top of all that, we got introduced to Leo Getz.
Whatever you need, Leo gets. You get it? I use that all the time to break the ice when I meet people. You know, it's good.
Joe Pesci is one of the few actors that can play the part of a bloody evil mafia hitman and be cast on a comedy the next and somehow makes both roles work. He is one of the few actors out there that can play both ends of the spectrum successfully. Lethal Weapon 2 ended up scooping up $227 million worldwide. To this day, it is still one of my favorite action movies ever. You cannot go wrong with this one. The summer of 1989 is considered one of the most memorable and profitable when looking back at the cost of the films versus their profits. In total, Indiana Jones, Batman, Ghostbusters 2, and Lethal Weapon 2 alone brought in just shy of $1.8 billion in ticket sales when adjusted for inflation domestically here in the US. That is just 4 films, which back then, it was a huge deal considering social media was not around to push promotional content to the masses, and word of mouth and newspaper reviews were the norm. Also unheard of was the amount of sequels released at once in the same summer. Moviegoers had plenty of familiar content of which to look forward to on the big screen. But 1989 was also the year many great memorable films hit the big screen, and not just during that summer run. Some notable titles, Deep Star 6, Leviathan, and The Abyss, all underwater horror flicks, were released the same year, although The Abyss took on a more action-oriented path. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, a favorite of mine, Lean on Me, the classic dark comedy Heathers, Field of Dreams, Roadhouse, Do the Right Thing, Karate Kid 3, Weekend at Bernie's, the cult classic UHF, Uncle Buck, one of my favorite John Candy movies, Best of the Best, Steel Magnolias, The Little Mermaid, Back to the Future 2, and finishing the year off, we got National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, War of the Roses, and Tango and Cash. And these were just some of the many movies of 1989. There were many more fun and great films I did not mention here. So what is your favorite blockbuster summer year? Is 89 the best? Or is it overrated? Also, stay tuned as I look into some of the games inspired by these movies on my next video. Until then, keep watching and keep gaming.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.